Hello, here's a quick summary of the parts of a tomato plant in case you want to do some trimming. More importantly, the parts you don't want to trim. So let's just overview what these plants look like at this point in their life cycle. So this is the main stem. This is the thing that grew up from the seed. And we want that to go as vertical as possible. Okay, from this stem, the plant sends out what are called sun stems. So for example, here's a sun stem. It's coming off. It's got this sort of fern-like leaf pattern. So these stems generate a tremendous amount of energy for the plant. And the plant will just put out one every few inches, kind of spirals around. Here you can, well, let's see if we can see this. If we can focus on that. There, this is another one. This is a big one, obviously, coming down here. Okay, we want to keep those unless the leaves look diseased or are going to touch the ground. We don't want them touching the ground because that's where fungus and the pests can get that at them more easy. As long as a sun stem is healthy, it can grow as much as it wants. We want to keep those. Okay, next type of structure. In basically every successful sun stem, these plants will throw off a sucker. Okay, a sucker grows in the crotch between, for example, this sun stem and this main stem. Main stem, sun stem, and there's a little sucker in the crotch there. And we're gonna cut this guy off. So you can see as this plant has grown up, there, I cut that sucker off. I cut that sucker off. Here, I let the sucker grow, right? This is the sun stem, this is the main stem, and this was a sucker. And you can see now, that sucker is basically as big as the main stem. It's kind of like a clone of the plant. That's what happens if you don't trim off a sucker. These plants, this climate, we want to have 2, maybe 3 stems, but the plant's trying to put out, dozens of suckers. So that's why we have to trim them. The third type is a flower stem or a fruit stem. So here's one of them. It throws out flowers, which we hope will ultimately turn into fruit. Here's another flower stem on this plant. Okay, so if a sucker gets to be, this size or maybe even a little bigger where you can definitely tell that it's a sucker, then we can go ahead and trim it carefully so as not to hurt the sun stem. Okay, so that's probably less than a week old. And you can let them grow more than that. The idea is just that by trimming that off, all the energy that this sun stem is producing goes back for the main plant to use for things like flowers and further vertical growth. Okay, so in sum, we like sun stems. Don't cut them off unless they're on the ground or dying. We love flower stems or fruit stems. Want to keep them, definitely. But if you see suckers as the plants continue to grow, like here's a sun stem, I think right in there, that's going to grow up to be a sucker and will have to be trimmed. All right, hope you found that interesting if you want to do some trimming.